is going to be a very interesting type of video because I don't think I've done a morning routine in literally decades, but well, not decades, maybe just a few years. I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like I haven't done an actual morning routine where I show you how I actually get ready to have a productive work from home day. I do social media full time. That requires a lot of self-discipline and self-scheduling and self-setting myself up for the day. So I'm going to show you how I get ready to have a productive work day at home. Because as much as we like to say, oh, I can work from home, this, that, and the third, I'll be productive. Girl, I promise you, we're all lying to ourselves because sometimes I do in fact get up knowing I have a lot to do, just not feel like I want to do anything, and it's the worst feeling in the world. So I'm going to show you how I get ready for a productive day today. Is this thing on? Before we get any further into today's video, I want to say thank you so much to today's video sponsor, which is BetterHelp. There's no better way to start off 2024 than putting yourself in therapy, because although you may feel like you have everything together, you can always improve yourself, and it helps even more if you have a little bit of help. If you aren't sure of what BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that is literally available on your phone, tablet, computer, anywhere you can log in, and there are thousands of licensed therapists on there that can help you with any problems that you may have. You don't have to go through a long list of therapists to go through, because you can actually take a quiz and get matched with somebody based on what they specialize in. And that's my favorite part, because honestly, if you've ever been in therapy before, you absolutely know just how annoying it is to scroll through hundreds of people and you still can't find anybody who might be good for you. But the gag is, if you don't really work with this person, you honestly, no shade, can switch from them, no extra cost to you, and that in itself is 10 out of 10 recommend. I personally have BetterHelp because throughout my post-grad journey and just my new year, new me type of journey, I want to go ahead and give some time back to myself by learning more about myself and how I can just better myself. And not everybody needs to have a mental health issue to go to therapy. BetterHelp is not a crisis line, so if you are in a time of crisis, please call proper numbers, not BetterHelp. That is not what they're made for. So if you're interested in starting your therapy journey, make sure you use my link down below for 10% off your first month at BetterHelp, or go to www.betterhelp.com/aliyah. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/aliyah for 10% off your first month. And let's continue with the morning routine. Y'all ever like put on Vaseline or like chapstick or something, and then all of a sudden you like do that, a big cluster of it gets caught in your mouth and you end up almost eating it? It was one of my New Year's resolutions to actually create a more reliable and realistic routine for me to follow as I get ready for the day. I will say this isn't my morning routine every day, because every day is not a productive day, and I just want to get that out of there right now. I just do this when I know I have a lot on my plate, and it definitely helps with feeling like I am getting myself set up to tackle what I need to tackle. Also, I slept real hard last night. Can you tell? I feel like people have always been really loud about the importance of routines and habits, and when I tell you, I've always known this information, but I was just like, what I'm doing is fine. Like, there's really no reason to change it. If I want to be a better version of myself and you want to be a better version of yourself, probably should be implementing stuff such as like routines to actually get you up and feeling good and kind of pushing you towards who you want to be and what you want to do in your life. Because even though this may just be like something that I do on a really busy work day or a semi-busy work day, it definitely makes me feel good and kind of elevates my mood knowing that I completed this. One thing about me, I'm a sucker for visual completion. Okay, I have whiteboard paper on my fridge where I write out to-dos that I need to do around the house, not necessarily that day. I put my daily to-dos in my Notion. I have the best time erasing or striking a line through it just because I know I finished it. And knowing that I have a little to-do list in the app Fabulous, I'm showing mad shoulder, I'm sorry. I feel like I've talked about that app a few times now. I'm just here to say I still ride and die and love and use it, because even though it's just another app that I have to like carry around and like actually deal with and use on a daily basis, it's not the most fun to keep up with 5,000 things, but I love Fabulous. It just helps me keep my daily to-dos in track and actually provides like little lessons and stuff for you to like get to certain goals and do certain things you want to do on a daily basis. I love it. I love it. But today I think I'm gonna do a little makeup. A little makeup will always make me feel a little bit more like put together, if that makes sense. I usually don't do, this is wet. Right, of course it's wet. Why wouldn't it be wet? Usually I don't do makeup when I know I have more of like a chill, just like computer work day, but I think I actually have some filming tasks that I have to do today. Another one of my 2024 goals is to just post more overall, even if the product isn't perfect to me. As long as it's quality, I can actually post it, because even though it's not perfect, I have a huge perfectionist type of thing where I feel like everything needs to be perfect and done well, and there needs to be like, if I need to be able to watch the video like 10 times without pointing out something that I would change about it, that's not healthy. Apparently overanalyzing and stuff like that is not healthy for your brain. Also, shout out to first aid beauty for fixing my under eye issue. I feel like I've been missing early YouTube content, and I think what I really miss about it is just the simplicity of it. We really used to get up on this website or app or wherever you're watching it. It just used to be fun, and we used to do our little morning, like school morning routines, our weekend morning routine, just any type of routine that we could get our hands on. It used to be so fun, and now people make fun of that, and I think that's where it took the fun out of it. 'Cause is setting up a camera and acting like you're doing a task even though you just set the camera up, hit record, and ran back to do the task, and then you do the task and then you run back to the camera. Is that kind of crazy? Absolutely. It's absolutely insane. Are we aware that it's insane? Absolutely. We're more than aware that it's insane, but we don't care because it's fun. Why don't people like to have fun these days? Nobody wants to have fun these days. YouTube. This is actually my day 2 twist out. I don't know. Ooh, I see flat curls. Oh Lord. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. So. First twist out in almost 4 years, and I think she's still going strong. Going with some Shea Moisture Coconut Hibiscus Hold and Shine Moisture Mist so I can have a little bit more shine in certain places, just because some of it does look a little dull and frizzy and just not as defined as I would like. And this stuff smells really good. Also gonna go through and pick my hair out just a little bit. Picking is a way to create volume, and I feel like just add a little bit more life to your curly hair than you would with just kind of leaving it unpicked. Like, look at the volume that's being created from just a few little pushes of a comb. Usually next up in my morning routine, I usually count as like getting dressed / grooming myself, and we did that when I brushed my teeth and did my makeup with my little hoopies in. Now I need to put on some clothes because much I like to stay in my pajamas all day, I will not be getting anything done in the house if I'm in what I slept. Plus my laundry smells really good, so that's another thing that really gets me up and wanting to wear my clothes. I think I want to just do a zip up sweatshirt today just because I think that's the easiest thing. I think I'm gonna go with this just basic white tank top to put under this zip up jacket that I've been wanting to wear from Urban Outfitters. Brand is Public. I've had this for years. This is by far one of my best quality and most sturdy tank tops that I own. So I'm just gonna throw this on really quick, and then we're gonna get my zip up that I want to wear today. I'm feeling compressed, put together. I also have on some gray sweatpants. These are from PacSun. The brand is John Galt, but I'm not gonna be wearing this around my house because I usually have it on brick, polar bear puss. Like, it's always cold in here. This really cute kind of Y2K style jacket with these 2 tigers on both sides of the chest. So I kind of want to throw this on today, even though this is like loungewear to some people. This is like a basic outfit for me. Big jacket and sweatpants I count as a calm low fit even if we are around the house. Sit up here and lie. Breakfast has been super easy and fun and just very convenient for me to make as of recent because I usually have one main thing with a side or 2, because I was saying to myself, why treat breakfast not like lunch and dinner? You should just be having one thing to eat in the morning. And ever since then, my mood levels, my energy levels, my will to actually get stuff done has been so much higher. And when I tell you, I've been having the time of my life trying to figure out what breakfast items I like that work together, like what I like flavor wise that work together, what I don't like that much. And recently a lot of this has just been like 2 to 5 minute things to make. Like, it's really not hard. I've been the biggest at making like full out breakfast like avocado toast or omelets recently, but I can't beat myself up too much about that because I have to remember I have to do what works for me. And if I don't want to do all that in the mornings as of recent, that's totally fine. I think I mentioned in my prepping for 2024 video, I used to compare my food like dishes to ones that I saw on social media. I was making it a really big deal when breakfast is supposed to be for fueling you and not anybody else that's watching said videos. I've been making bagels a lot recently. I actually like to get a lot of my bagels fresh from the Publix deli because they make them fresh every morning. Buy 2 or 3 at a time and I will just reheat them. That isn't the most aesthetic. I don't make my own bagels. I don't run to the farmer's market every morning to get a fresh bagel, but this is what works for me. Getting that breakfast going, you know? If you haven't been able to tell, today on the menu we have a butter and cream cheese bagel along with a thing of Greek non-fat vanilla bean yogurt from Trader Joe's. I cannot put my finger on what is so good about this yogurt, but how I like to prep it is with some granola and some honey. This is just regular peanut butter cluster granola that I got from Publix, and sometimes I want a lot, sometimes I really don't. It's just another thing to kind of get me full, but there is a lot of protein in this granola, so it's pretty filling. So I try not to do too much because I've been trying to make it a goal of actually making things that I'm gonna finish in the morning. I want to overload myself because I can always go back and get more if I'm still hungry. And then of course, I don't know why I put the honey down right side up, but I'm gonna top it off with some more honey once this kind of flows to the bottom. Do your thing, do your thing. I really like really sweet things. Comes to honey, I will literally put honey on anything because I love sweet things. It's actually so delicious. I think last summer I started putting honey on things such as like my fruits, and I've just been eating it as like finger food, like with honey since then. I love it. It's so good on anything. You can't put honey on anything and then say it makes it nasty. I love a natural sweetener. Our butter is melting so we can spread it now. So I recently, well, specifically this year, I told myself that I didn't want to put too much emphasis on time restraints and like certain times that I should be doing stuff, because at the end of the day, if I put a time restraint on myself or something and that time comes up and I don't feel like doing it, I'm gonna feel so guilty, because one thing I'm not gonna do is force myself to do something that I don't feel like doing, which is why the title of this video does not have a timestamp such as like my 8 a.m. or like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. morning routine to like have a productive day, simply because that's realistically not what I do. I have come to the realization that as much as I want to have the same routines every single day at the same time, that's just not realistic, and that's not taking into consideration my body's needs that I might have for that day. So usually I will say a non-negotiable for me every day is waking up at 8, because I think that's just a perfect time for me to wake up. I usually go to sleep by 11 o'clock every night. Another reason why I feel like I've been sleeping so good and having such good mornings recently, because I've been nourishing my body by not staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning playing Fortnite. But I will say a non-negotiable every day is waking up at 8, but there is never a time where I necessarily say I guarantee start my morning routine every day, because as much as I want to wake up at 8 every day, and even though I've been doing really good with that, I also feel like I sometimes want to sleep in for an extra 30 minutes, or sometimes I don't want to get up till 9 because my body's just feeling a little bit sluggish, more sluggish than normal. I let myself have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to time constraints, which is why I don't necessarily say my morning routine necessarily starts at 8, because I don't start my morning routine every day at 8. It's just a routine that I do no matter what time I get up, no matter what time I decide to wake up. My morning routine is my morning routine no matter what time I decide to start it, and I don't like to constrain myself or put pressure on myself by putting a time limit on it. So I just kind of do this whenever I feel like getting up. I mean, I will not stay in the bed till like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I try to get up before then, but I have to listen to my body more, because I think that was the biggest things that kind of set me up for failure last year, and why I felt so bad all the time was because I would force myself and not listen to my body, and it obviously needed rest, and I was trying to do the most, I mean the most, in order to get up and feel this kind of hole, or like kind of unspoken need slash rule. I'm not a part of the Stanley Soldiers, I just have one. Please don't yell at me. For many years, I was in college. For most of my life, I was in school. And because I was in school and had so much to do, because everything needed so much of me all the time, I turned to caffeine. Were you thinking I was gonna say a hard drug? No, I turned to caffeine, which is what a lot of students do, especially in college, which is when I kind of grew my dependency. And I say this because I had told myself this year was the year that we stopped waking up and drinking coffee for fun. When you start taking in caffeine and stuff like that constantly, your body gets so used to it, you become dependent on it. It becomes a dependency, and when you don't have it, you literally get headaches and migraines. When I tell you, I think it was 2021-ish when I was doing my kind of dark aesthetic, everything was dark, nobody could see what was going on, just before we were light and happy. When that was kind of like the era of my life, I could literally drink like 2 grande sized coffees a day and not feel a thing, and I liked it because it tastes good, and that's really what I drank it for. I couldn't go a day without some sort of caffeine, to the point where if I didn't have caffeine that day, I would have a raging migraine, I would feel nauseous. Baby, that's withdrawal. That's withdrawals. I was having caffeine withdrawals at like 19. That is not okay. And ever since then, I have made it my life's mission to try and not drink caffeine as much. I will still drink caffeine here and there, but it's gotten to the point where I don't drink it every day and I feel so much more naturally awake. It's kind of crazy. If you've been thinking about it, definitely cut down on your caffeine. I can wake up and not be like, oh, I can't wait to make coffee. And I'm just like, oh, like we're up for the day. And I'm not gonna lie, a cute little substitute for if I am feeling like abnormally sleepy, not like completely drained when I wake up because I've been doing so good with my sleep schedule, I will just get ice water and call it a day. I've been making it my mission to drink water every morning just because it's really good for you and you didn't drink water for like 8 to 10 hours the night before, so you need to rehydrate yourself for the day. Sometimes I'll drink it as soon as I wake up, but I don't like morning breath, so that's pretty rare. I don't care what anybody says. That breath you have in the morning, like the kind of filmy breath, like no matter if you use TheraBreath mouthwash or brush your teeth for 10 minutes the night before, you're still gonna have that weird morning film breath. And I hate that breath with anything. So I usually brush my teeth as soon as I wake up because I hate it so much. Sometimes I will like drink water as soon as I wake up just because I want it. And sometimes I'll wait till like my breakfast time or like post breakfast when I'm sitting down for the day. As long as I drink water, like within like the hour or two that I wake up, I'm like good. I just like to rehydrate myself. It's nice to have, and I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. I am not a crazy Stanley like cup defender. This cup is quite frankly almost as big as my torso, but I love how big this damn cup is. I have been told by my doctors that I should be drinking about half my body weight in water, and I'm between 120 and 130 pounds. So that means I should be drinking about 60 to 65 fluid ounces of water every day. This is a 40-ounce cup. So knowing that I finish one of these a day and then some, I get my natural and like needed daily water intake, it just feels so good. Having small little accomplishments as in finishing and drinking as much water as I should. Like drinking water in the morning is just really important because it's a good alternative to caffeine. Ice water, in my opinion, has just the exact same effect as coffee after you've kind of gotten off it a little while. And it's really good and it's free if you have purified water at home because I don't drink tap water. I paddled Erectine. Period. Caesar. I've been trying to jazz up Cashew's little food a little more often, or a little better than I did before. I think today I'm gonna try to mix his foods because usually he'll just get kibble for breakfast and then wet food for dinner. I'm gonna see how he reacts when he gets his wet food in the morning. It may seem like I'm feeding him really late, like for breakfast, but Cashew, as much as I try to put him on a schedule, he does what he wants to do, and I will not be mad at him for that. I will literally give him food at like 8, 9 in the morning, and he will not touch it till 12, 11 o'clock. I give him his dinner at the same time every single day, or almost every single day. And sometimes he just doesn't want to eat it in a certain area. Sometimes he wants to eat in his playpen, sometimes he doesn't. And he will literally smell the food and leave the area if he doesn't want to eat. Sometimes he wants to eat upstairs, sometimes he wants to eat right outside his playpen. So I am gonna top it with a Zesty Paw treat. He takes these every day. These are the Zesty Paws 8-in-1 mini bites. He usually likes to take this out and eat it first, so I just put it right on the top for him. As much as I love Cashew, the smell of dog food is actually like rancid. I'm gonna put the rest of his wet food in the fridge. You ready to eat, Papa? Something I really like to do before I actually get into the nitty-gritty of getting my work done is actually kind of filling in a little creative void that I feel like I've been having more recently. And instead of trying to do like super creative like projects in the morning and this, that, and the third, as many of you may or may not know, I actually started digital planning more recently. Always done it, but I've actually got into like physical digital planning. And I recently invested in a Notability digital planner. And as you can see from this day, I like to create little collages of any theme that I just kind of want for the day. I'll go on Pinterest, get some cute pictures, and I'll just make these little collages to fill up space that I didn't use in my planner for that day. And I also like to fill out my previous reflection day, as well as go onto the 17th and look at this blank canvas and try to figure out a theme that I want to do to fill in some space that I know I'm not going to use today. I noticed I actually do a lot better when it comes to work ethic and just work consistency. I don't know if it's just getting out some energy that I thought I needed to get out, or just getting some creative things in, is like something as small as making a collage like on my digital planner. It really makes the biggest difference. So I'm gonna spend a few minutes doing that. And I'm also gonna turn my audiobook back on because I've been trying to figure out a way to reach my really ideal reading goal of 25 books this year. And considering I'm on book 2 and it's only the 17th of January, I feel like I'm doing very well. I'm gonna throw my audiobook on, we're gonna get on Pinterest, and we're gonna do a digital mini scrapbooking session. Bestie, we're having our mini mic moment. We're having our mini mic moment. So I didn't bore you to death. Rapid fire productivity and routine and habit-based questions. I have some expertise in something. Not saying I'm an expert or anything, but I kind of do and I'll talk about sometimes. How do you maintain your routine when feeling down or unmotivated? I will always say the answer to this question is having high and low energy routines. Basically, you make a high level routine that you know you're going to be good, you're going to be able to do when you're feeling really good and just really high energy, and then make a low morning routine where you're not feeling as good. Like in this video, you see kind of more of a high productivity routine because this is a lot of stuff that I do before I get productive. What habits did you start to help save you money? 2024 is my year of saving money because, sister, if you would have seen how much money I spent on DoorDash last year, you would literally kick my ass. No shade. First thing and main thing that I honestly did this year was making coffee at home and also just kind of weaning off coffee as a whole, because you honestly don't know how much money you spend on coffee until you stop drinking coffee very often. And even if you don't want to stop but make it at home, you save so much money. When you buy the supplies, it seems like a lot of money, but if you divide up how much coffee you get out of each serving, it's honestly like not even $2 a cup. Like it's how to be productive when it's that time of month or seasonal depression. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you how to do it because I personally don't. I suffer with, sadly, periods, and they're honestly awful, especially on day 1 and day 2. So usually throughout the month, I will give myself a few days on my period specifically to actually like relax and be lazy and just kind of pig out like when I want to relax. I will always say you need to take a break. Seasonal depression as well. If I know I'm not feeling good for like a week, I will literally give myself time to recharge because companies don't build in breaks for said like issues. Why wouldn't you do that for yourself? Best way to break a bad habit, but I feel like the best way to break a bad habit is honestly replacing it with a better one. For example, this has like an emotional control thing attached to it. So I noticed when I used to get really angry, I would kind of like lash out. I would yell, I would scream, I would cry, and that sounds like a tantrum because that's what it was. I didn't know how to regulate my emotions. So for example, I had a really bad habit of lashing out when I was angry. I replaced my bad habit of lashing out with a productive habit such as cleaning. I am a certified angry cleaner. Who would have thought? Even something that's like small with like you drink coffee every day, maybe in order to like replace that bad habit or kind of get that bad habit out, you can honestly say, oh, before I drink my coffee, I need to drink a thing of water because I notice when I drink coffee, I don't drink as much water. But in order to get to my coffee, I have to drink water first. If you want to wean off something entirely, you definitely need to like work your way back. I definitely would say replace it with smaller things and just eventually wean yourself off. So for example, coffee. I went from coffee, like literally espresso shots, 2 to 4 espresso shots a day, to green tea and like boba. And then I eventually wasn't getting migraines anymore because green tea is not as, you know, strong as like a shot of espresso. And then I went to iced coffee. No, I went to ice water, not iced coffee. Please, that's going backwards. How to maintain a routine. What do you use to keep the productivity going? I think honestly the best way that I could say this is keeping the productivity and just tasks very simple, literally to the point where they become habits. Like having small tasks that you do every day that you know helps you be productive, and keeping them very simple, straight to the point is a way to create a habit and you don't even know it. I also feel like personal drive and just personal things you want to do for yourself to get towards your goals is how I personally do it. But I like to say I have things that I want to do, so I know I will go out of my way to do it. I tell people that all the time. If you want to do something that bad, you will do it no matter what. How to have discipline when trying to form a habit / routine / be productive. As much as we like to say take self-discipline out the picture, that is a really big part as to how people function. But sometimes you really just have to take self-discipline out of it and ask yourself, how bad do I want this? And based on how bad you want something, that can literally determine if something gets done or not. That's like, it's willpower at the end of the day, in my humble and very basic opinion. And I just feel like if some people work as hard to keep that in their life and apply that same effort to things such as like better habits and better routines, everybody would be happier. What is one study habit that you live by? How do you stay focused? Pomodoro method. I will live and die by that. So essentially it's a timer for a set amount of work time. I usually do 25 minutes, and it has a 5 or 15 minute break time depending on how many rounds of 25 minutes that you do. I don't know who's popping up on this screen with me, but please relax. I personally love to do this because I think the hardest part about getting a task done and maintaining a study schedule is actually getting started, because the idea of studying is so ass. Like, girl, I get it. So I feel like having something that just gives you 25 to 30 minutes to get started is honestly the easiest way. And then by the time you're like 25 minutes deep and the 5-minute timer goes off and it's like, damn, I don't really want to stop right now, do I? Any tips to help procrastination? Pomodoro is my favorite when it comes to studying, but if you are somebody who gets distracted by everything, a timer is going to be your best friend. I just noticed that I personally love a timer. I love to say, I don't want to do this right now, but I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes to get started, see how much I can get done. And because I need to constantly prove to myself that I can do things, I am going to do the absolute most in those 10 minutes. I'll probably do more in those 10 minutes for a task that I set aside the 10 minutes to do. And compared to like, if if I try to do it for the span of a week. And finally, when you fall off a routine, how do you motivate yourself to start back? I'm also reading these off my iPad, so I should have said that sooner. I am so willpower driven because I have an issue where I feel like I need to constantly prove to myself that I can do things that I swear I can't do. I hate going to the gym, but I know I'm capable of going. So what do? Go to the extreme. I'm gonna go Monday through Friday. Not healthy in the slightest, but I'm being simply realistic here. Like, this all goes back to willpower. And honestly, if you want something that bad, you would go out of your way to do it. And when it comes to routines, I will say some small things that I do, if that's not really a good answer for you. I love to have little task lists. Like, I mentioned the app Fabulous like earlier in the video. And honestly, that's probably one of my favorite ways to track my task. I love a habit tracker, and honestly, Fabulous keeps my routines in one place, and it gives me little lessons, like I said before. There's definitely apps where you can track like your habits and everything like that, and just being able to know that I checked a habit off like 30 days in a row. Girl, you kind of did that, I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, motivation to start back, I don't think it goes to self-discipline. I just think it depends on how bad you want it. And if you know you want to do something, don't put it off till tomorrow. Start doing it today. Because, girl, we all know you're not gonna start that shit tomorrow. Welcome to my stew. This is my at-home studio. Currently downstairs in my hobby room slash office. You guys know we gave it a little bit of a rebrand, and honestly, ever since then, I've been loving spending time in here. Now we're about to get into the nitty-gritty, because if you thought we were about to start the day, no, we're still not starting, because I still feel like I have some things that I could be doing with myself, such as educating myself. There's recently been a lot of discourse about influencers, and people are more multi-dimensional than just opening PR, filming videos, and posting content. I've been feeling like that for a while. I just feel like there's so many other things that I could be doing with my time besides waking up and doing the same thing every day. I've implemented a little part of my morning that I like to call learn and study. What I like to do during this time is spend time learning something or researching something that I like, whether that be watching certain vlogs and seeing how they set things up and then reapplying and creating my own storyline with some shots, or going on things such as Skillshare, which I actually been using a lot, Duolingo, or I even use things through vidIQ, which is like SEO research for YouTube, and just learning things right there. So whatever I'm really just interested in that day, that's something I will research and learn. And recently I've been learning about different editing styles and vlog shots, just because it's something that I'm really interested in. I've really been interested in filmmaking recently. I've been going through and learning more stuff about it through watching people that I already watch on YouTube and taking notes and making it more educational and flipping it and turning it into how I could utilize that in my personal things that I do for YouTube and personal projects, or just going on YouTube and looking up videos on how to do certain things, or just getting a broad beginner thing as well. So I think today is going to be a YouTube day where I just take my iPad that I literally just put up, and I am going to just kind of intake some information and kind of internalize and learn from vlogs and different YouTube videos besides just watching them and consuming them, because you can learn a lot about somebody and their personal filming style, editing style, if you actually like watch and pay attention to detail. And I love paying attention to detail, and everybody that I love to watch on YouTube also loves doing that, so it's a pretty plus if you ask. Yesterday was a really hard working day, so I'm not trying to put too much pressure on myself. So we're gonna go ahead, put up some YouTube, and we're about to learn some more about different shots, angles, editing, ideas, and stuff like that. And yeah, I usually like to give myself about 30 to 45 minutes to do this, just depending on the video and how many notes I take and this, that, and the third. About that time where I finally wrap up my morning routine, and now that I feel like I've got some creative stuff out my system, I got some inspiration for just what I like to do, which is make videos and create things via visual platforms such as YouTube, and using things like my camera, tripods, editing. I feel like I'm finally ready to start the day. Now, this morning routine might seem long-winded, create a more structured and more kind of fleshed out way for me to get ready for a productive day. I feel like morning routine videos kind of die out after the new year, but I want to let you know, hey, I do in fact have one. If you have any questions about my personal routine, feel free to ask them down below in the comments. And if you want to stay interacting with me outside of YouTube, because I do have platforms outside of here, I have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok that are all linked down below for your leisure, because that's the easiest way. You can click and follow if you want to support me in any other way. And if you want to support while you're already on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here. And if you want, you can keep continuing watching some videos of mine. I'm gonna put some on the screen for you to make it real easy for you. YouTube actually picked one of these out for you, and then I picked out the other one. So I hope you guys like the recommendations that I gave / YouTube gave, and they're very fitting for what you like. So with that being said, thank you so much again for watching today's video. Hope you all enjoy, and I will see you somewhere else on the internet. Bye, everybody.